What's up guys, welcome back to another video. So we're back here working on the X3 once again. If you guys missed my last video, at the end I think I found a potential massive vacuum leak that the car had, and that might be the reason why we're having all these fuel mixture codes. So I want to go ahead and fix that today and see if that's gonna fix all the issues that we're having with it. So again, if you guys missed the last video, this is a piece of the intake boot that sits on top of the throttle body. I think this is the last boot that connects to it. This piece was exactly like this when I took off the other boot from it. So yeah, not really sure how that happened, but the only possible way is maybe somebody pried it, or maybe they just over tightened the clamp. I was actually gonna order one online, but it was gonna take way too long for it to get here, so I didn't want to delay this video any longer and it actually not fix the problem. So I figured I would just go to the junkyard, just grab one. It should work just as good as a new one. The first X3 that I went to actually had the same exact bend in the same exact spot, so it had me thinking, like, is this how it's supposed to be? But there's like literally no way because it looks so bent. So I went to another one, took it off, and it was perfectly circular. So I guess it really isn't, and it might be a common problem on these cars, who really knows. But I ended up getting a used one. Should be perfect. It's perfectly circular, so it should do the job, and we're gonna slap it on there today, and hopefully that's gonna fix, you know, the issues that we're having with all the fuel mixture stuff and all the weird codes that we're getting. The throttle body actually does have a gasket, so I'm gonna be replacing it just to make sure that we don't have any vacuum leaks from the throttle body all the way to the intake, so we can rule that out as well. So I have a new gasket right there that we're going to be putting on. I also took off the hood shocks from the X3 at the junkyard, so we can replace the bad ones that we have on this hood right here, so we don't have to use the wooden stick anymore. It's pretty annoying, but I'm going to replace that at a later time. Right now I want to get everything put back together as far as like the throttle body and the new intake boot. So let's get started with replacing the gasket for the throttle body, and then we'll get the whole intake assembled back together with the new boot that we got from the junkyard, and we can test it out. So let's get started on that real quick. All right, so now that everything is put back together, it's time to test our luck and start it up, and hopefully we don't have any issues like that anymore. But let's go ahead and start it, and let's see what we got. If it has a rough fight on the start, I know it's not fixed, but so far I think it's good. Oh God, I really hope so. The weird thing is that it had a check engine light before and I didn't clear it, and now that I fixed and changed this stuff out, it's gone. I think that's a good sign, not really sure, but I'm gonna drive it tonight, just drive it around and see what codes come back, and then I'll get back with you guys tomorrow. So yeah, hopefully it's good. I think it's good. It's idling pretty good right now, so pretty stoked. All right guys, so it is the next day now and I'm pretty damn tired. I stayed up till 6 a.m. last night doing all the drive cycles for the X3, but all the monitors are ready. The check engine light hasn't came back, so it's safe to say that I think that was the issue, and the car drives really good. So I'm gonna take it to smog right now. All the monitors are pretty much ready aside from the evap system, but we don't need the evap system to pass smog, so I'm not really worried about that one. So as long as the other ones are ready, should pass smog. So I'm gonna take it to the smog shop right now, get it smogged, and should pass. So let's go with it real quick. All right, so really good news. We got the X3 to pass smog, and I also did the registration as well. So we got the tags and everything is under my name. So we're all good with that. So that means we can move on to the next thing, which is gonna be working on the suspension and just trying to figure out exactly what's wrong with it. This is gonna be pretty interesting. So let's see what we could find wrong with it. So as you guys see, I already have it on jack stands and everything. I'm already doing some little diagnostics on it, trying to figure out exactly what's wrong with it. And I'm thinking there's probably gonna be some kind of suspension parts that are bent or damaged. Not really sure exactly which ones yet, but I do want to show you guys something that I'm doing right now. So I put a level on the hub because I want to see how bent it actually is. So I want you guys to take note of this bubble right here. I'm not sure if you guys can see it on camera, but it's all the way on the left side facing the hub. And if we go to the other side, you guys can see that the bubble is facing the complete opposite side. So that kind of leads me to believe that we got some kind of suspension components that are probably damaged. Maybe the control arm, maybe the strut itself, maybe the whole assembly is bent. Not really sure, but I want to start off by taking off this side of the suspension, the strut, maybe the control arms, maybe the whole assembly later on. But I want to see if I could find anything that's damaged or possibly bent. So I guess I'm just going to start off by just taking everything off. I've also noticed that this strut is different from the one on the other side, and you can also tell right here that it's also been replaced. So kind of interesting stuff. So I want to see exactly what is wrong with it. So let's start off by taking everything off. So as you guys just saw, I removed a bunch of stuff, and we're actually going to be replacing all that stuff that we took off, minus I think just the rotor and the caliper. But all this stuff right here I'm pretty much going to be replacing tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to be going in the junkyard and hopefully get all these parts off a used X3. So it'll be getting a new hub assembly with the new control arms, a new strut as well. The control arms are actually metal. I thought they were going to be aluminum, just like the E90 one, since it is a newer generation car, but they're actually metal, so there is a lot of potential for all this stuff bending right here. But it's hard to tell because so many of these parts here have so much curvatures, and it's really hard to tell where there's an actual bend. So I'm just going to replace everything. Should cost me around maybe like $100 to replace all this stuff from the junkyard, and hopefully that will fix the issue that we're having. But I mean, we won't really know until we actually do it, because I really can't see anything, no visible noticeable damage that, you know, could potentially be causing this. But I mean, we're just gonna go after it and just do it. So with that being said, I will see you guys tomorrow, which will be like literally 1 second for you guys, but hopefully we get it then so I can install it, and I just really hope it fixes it. But see you guys then. All right, so it is the next day now, and I just got home from the junkyard, got pretty much everything that we need to assemble this X3 back together. Got the new strut, the whole assembly with the control arms. So I mean, if that stuff wasn't bent on the other one, I really don't know what else it could be, but I think it should probably be something like this, but I'm just really not exactly sure what it was. I tried comparing both and I just couldn't really see a difference between like all the bends and all that stuff. But there's only going to be one way to know, and that's just putting it back together and just really hoping that it fixes it. So I'm going to start off by mounting the strut up to the tower just to have the suspension held up. They're not really sure how I'm going to get this axle on there or whatever. I haven't really done this ever before, so it's a first time for me, but let's just get started, put everything back together, and hopefully we'll have it on the ground today and we'll find out if that, you know, fixes our issue. So let's get started. We fixed it. Oh God, that's such a relief. I'm pretty excited, as you guys can tell, because it's such a relief, because I had that little feeling in my head like, what if it's actually worse than it just being like the whole assembly? Like, what if the car had like some frame damage or something like that, and then pretty much all the money that I put into it and the money that I bought it for is pretty much just gonna go to waste, because, you know, the car is not gonna be good anymore. But I'm pretty excited. Like, there's actually clearance between the strut and the wheel, and it's the same as the other side now, so I'm pretty stoked about this. But now I'm gonna do the final test, which is obviously driving it, and then we're gonna see if it actually drives pretty good. It's probably gonna need an alignment on the steering rack, because I did notice that this side is actually shorter on the threads than that side over there. So I can kind of tell from right here that the wheel has like some slight toe like this. So we're gonna need an alignment, but I mean, that's not really a big deal. So let's take it off the jack stands right now, and then I'm gonna take it for a spin, and I'll let you guys know how it drives. So let me do that real quick. Guys, I just took it for a spin. This thing drives like a freaking monster now. It drives so good. Before, like, I couldn't even go that fast because the traction light would turn on and it would kind of just like slow itself down, and it'll like pull over from like left to right. But now, guys, it drives like super fucking solid, and I'm just so happy that we finally fixed it. Drives really good now. So I also did a quick alignment. I just like eyeballed it, and I was actually able to get the steering wheel straight, so that's another cool thing. So it drives a lot better now, but obviously it's gonna be better like just doing it on the machine, which I'm still gonna do. But I just wanted to get like a full like actual driving experience and not just have it like pull over to the right side a little bit because the alignment's off and stuff. But I got it pretty straight, and I did some pulls with it, and it drives really, really good, guys. So I'm so stoked that it's fixed. And that just leaves me to like the last things, which is gonna be changing out the fender, changing out the door, and that's realistically about it. And this car is like 100% done. It drives really good, guys. I'm just so stoked that I was able to get it fixed, guys. This thing's a beast. I don't know if you guys saw in the other clip or if you guys are able to tell how much toe it actually had, but the wheel is pretty straight now. So I just matched the threads on the steering rack, same as the other side, and I was able to get it pretty straight, so pretty stoked about that. I honestly don't really know what was wrong with the other suspension that we took off. There had to be at least one of those components bent, whether it was a control arm, the other control arm, or maybe the strut was actually bent. Not really sure, but I'm just glad that I fixed it. I paid $88 for the whole assembly that I changed out, so it wasn't even really that bad. And I just thought it was gonna be a lot more serious, but honestly, it was pretty simple and the install wasn't even that bad either. But I'm just really stoked that we have it back in its original shape. Drives really good, and I'm just so happy, guys. But that's gonna be the end of part number 3 of fixing the X3. I feel like we got a lot of the major stuff done within this video, and I'm just so happy that everything just worked out so good. And we're literally just down to the fender and the door, which obviously that's just gonna be a waiting game, finding the right one with the right color, but I'm not really worried about it. I'm just so happy that everything is just back in one piece. But that's gonna be the end of today's video, guys. If you enjoyed, make sure you guys give me a thumbs up. Drop any kind of feedback that you guys have down below in the comment section, and as always, make sure you guys are subscribed so you guys do not miss any future BMW content on my channel. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Later, guys.